I think we all know there's going to be singing in this video. Hey, what's up YouTube? It's Bobby, aka Paginator, and I'm here with my Dolly Parton book tag. I did do some searching online to see if there already was one in existence. There was one I found on YouTube, and it was made and created in another language. So, as far as I know, this is the original English language Dolly Parton book tag, and I'm really, really excited. So, a little bit of background. I was raised on country music, and always have loved Dolly Parton. As a singer, as a songwriter, an actress, she's just amazing. She cares about children's literacy and has a literacy foundation that provides books to children in need. I don't know, there's so many good things I could say about her, but we don't have the time. So we're going to jump into the tag after a couple more notes. So, other note, as usual, some of the books that I want to talk about are in my classroom, so if I don't physically have them, I'll insert a picture. There's also one that I listen to on audio and don't have a physical copy of, so I'll insert a picture of that one as well. I feel like we can't do a Dolly Parton book tag without talking about Dumplin by Julie Murphy. If you're not familiar with this book, it was the inspiration for the Netflix movie Dumplin, if you've seen that. It is about a young girl who is plus size and she has some confidence issues. Her mom is a pageant mom, and her mom doesn't have much confidence in her daughter. And when the pageant comes around, she decides, Willowdene is her name, sorry, I should have said that. She decides she's going to go for it. And she and her aunt really love to listen to Dolly Parton together, and her aunt has since passed away. And so she channels her inner Dolly and decides to go ahead and compete in this pageant. And it's just a phenomenal story. I loved reading it so much, and I mean, the movie adaptation is actually done pretty well, and Dolly wrote songs for the soundtrack. Girl in the Movies, which is one of the songs she wrote, is just, oh, it's super, super cute and relatable, and just, oh. Dolly, I need to stop gushing. Okay, so, with this tag, I'm going to be posting all the prompts / questions in the space below in the discussion, or description box, sorry. I'm so excited that I'm stumbling over my words. And if you want to do this tag, awesome. And also, if you do it, let me know so that I can check it out. There are 11 songs. I wanted to get it to 10, but I just couldn't eliminate another song. Dolly's written so many songs that it's so hard to choose. So a lot of these are going to be familiar because I tried to go with ones that are more familiar with in the general public. And there is a prompt to go with each one. So, here we go. And last bit of business before we jump to the first prompt, I'm not going to get through this without singing. My apologies. Some of you have commented you don't mind when I sing, so thank you for that. But number one, my Tennessee mountain home. In my Tennessee mountain home, life is as peaceful as a baby's sigh. This song is all about comfort and home. So the prompt is, what is a book that makes you feel cozy or at home? And I am going to go with Little Women by Louisa May Alcott. You can see this book is very much worn out, this copy. I have had this book probably since I was in middle school, and I've read it many, many times. If you're not familiar, there are many movie adaptations you can check out. The Winona Ryder one is my favorite, Winona Ryder. But anyway, this is about 4 sisters, the March sisters, and they are living through Civil War times. They live in Concord, in New England, and their father is away fighting in the Civil War, and their family is very poor. They have a mom, they call her Marmee, and there's kind of a housekeeper woman there as well, but it's kind of just these women facing the world. They face hard times, poverty, sickness, relationships, grief. There's so much that they go through, and our main character, Jo, is the second oldest sister, and she is a writer, and so through the process of this book, she's learning what makes good writing and what is a good story worth her time to tell. So it's absolutely phenomenal. It's an American classic. I highly, highly recommend that you read it if you have not. Song number 2 is Coat of Many Colors, which I've heard Dolly say in an interview was her favorite of her songs. This is a story song, and it's based on a true story about how when Dolly was small and her family was very poor, her mom made her a coat of many colors out of rags that someone had given them, probably from some kind of donation system. And the kids made fun of her because she had this coat of many colors, and it was like this patchwork thing, but she was really proud of it. And her mom had told her the Bible story about Joseph in the coat of many colors, and she really just was honored that her mom had made this coat for her. My coat of many colors that Mama made for me. So the prompt is, pick a book with a color scheme that you really like on the cover, or just a colorful cover. So I had to go with Firekeepers Daughter by Jolene Booley. This book is phenomenal. It's been winning awards and all kinds of things. It is a Native American tale, and it is just stunning. I love this primary color scheme in interesting patterns with the butterfly. This book is about Donis, who is 18. She is Native American, but that she's not an officially registered member of the tribe because they have this blood status thing. Anyway, there is a mystery going on involving crime. There's a new guy that's moved to town who's kind of cute and has like shown some interest in Donis. There's hockey because she and her brother played hockey. Her brother still does play hockey. There's some interesting tribal relationships and tribal politics that happen in this book. I don't feel like I can tell you more details without like getting spoilery, so we're just gonna call it good on that one. Sorry, ever since I got my nails done a few weeks ago, I just felt the need to like tap on things. That's probably really annoying to you. Alright, prompt number 3 is one of Dolly's most famous songs. She has so many super famous songs, but this one is stratospheric. And I will always love you. Most of us know the Whitney Houston version of that song as well, and just so good. This was written kind of as a breakup song, not like dating breakup, because Dolly wrote it to say goodbye to a man that she worked with professionally. She was on the Porter Wagner show and it was time for her to leave. But because it's a breakup song, the prompt that goes with this is a book that you loved but have moved on from. So you loved it at first, but now you're kind of like, I don't love it anymore, or why did I love it, or something like that. And I knocked something over, sorry. The book I chose for this one is Twilight. Look at my poor book. This was the first copy of Twilight that I owned, and it was in my classroom library for quite a while, but it needed some TLC, so it came home and I got a different copy. This front cover was completely off at one point. Yeah. So when I first read Twilight, I read it when it was like brand new out, and I was like, what is this? There's nothing out here like this. And I immediately book tucked it with my students. It was my first year teaching in Wyoming, and they went crazy for it. And, you know, the whole world kind of went crazy. We were all Twihards for a long time. And since then, I still have strong feelings about this series. Team Jacob forever. But I have kind of moved on in terms of wanting a better written series. And I mean, I owe this book a lot of thanks, because without Stephanie Meyer, J.K. Rowling, like some of those big, like boomy kind of authors, there are a lot of kids that wouldn't read it all. But at the same time, I have kind of moved on from this book. Like, I don't love you as much as I once did. Alright, prompt number 4. 2 doors down, they're laughing and drinking and having a party. 2 doors down, they're not aware that I'm around. So this song is like this girl's crying her heart out, like hearing these party things going on and just feeling miserable. So in terms of a prompt, pick a book that you wish you could jump into. And so for this one, I'm going to go with Heartless by Marissa Meyer. It is set in the world of Alice in Wonderland, so it could also say Alice in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll. But in Heartless, we have our main character who eventually ends up being the Queen of Hearts, off with her heads and all that. Here she just is a girl who wants to bake things. I would love to be in Wonderland during this time when she's young and like seeing all this experience. I always feel like, though, if I'm going to jump into a book, I want to save people. I don't think you're allowed. If you're going to jump in a book, you probably just have to be an observer or like a little side character walking down the street. I don't think it works that way. But anyway, I'd love to visit this place. Prompt number 5. Does that give you a clue? When Dolly wrote this song, she actually played her fingernails when they recorded it. True. She's told this story many times. So if you're a Dolly fan, you probably already know that. And this song, of course, is 9 to 5. When Dolly was offered the opportunity to act in 9 to 5, which was her first movie, she said yes if she could write the theme song. And this song that like the whole world knows, and I think is her most requested song at concerts and stuff, is 9 to 5. You know this one. Working 9 to 5. What a way to make a living. Barely getting by. It's all taken and no giving. They just use your mind and they never give you credit. It's enough to drive you crazy if you let it. Ooh, that was bad. Anyway, that's the song. So our prompt is, since this was Dolly's first movie, what is a book that's a new to you author, genre, trope, etc.? Something new to you in some way. So for this one, I'm going to be choosing the book Green Lights by Matthew McConaughey. Yes, you heard me right, Matthew McConaughey, that actor guy. So this is a memoir kind of a book that he wrote, and he tells you up at the very beginning that it's not really a memoir, but it kind of is. I listened to the audiobook on a friend's recommendation, and it was really fun because he narrates his own book. So listening to his voice, telling these stories, he does get into some adult content, so I'm not going to be purchasing a copy for my classroom library, but it was really, really interesting, and like I said, fun to listen to his voice telling it. So if you're interested in hearing stories from his life at all, I highly recommend going with the audiobook so that you can hear him tell the stories. Very interesting life that he's had. Like, I didn't know he was an exchange student in Australia for a year, like, and had some kind of bizarre experiences while he was there. So there we go. There's my new to you author. All right, so for number 6, I chose the song Here You Come Again. And in order to kind of fully clarify the prompt, I'm going to need you to hear a little bit of the beginning of the song. So I'm singing again. Here you come again. Just when I begun to get myself together, you waltz right through the door, just like you've done before, and wrap my heart around your little finger. Here you come again. All right, so the prompt for this one is a book that you have kept coming back to, or reread and reread, or at least reread once. And so for this one, I picked a book which, of course, is in my classroom library, so I can't hold it up for you, but I will insert a picture, and that is Anne of Green Gables by Ellen Montgomery. I have read and reread this series so many times. I feel like for a large part of my life, I've been trying to be Anne Shirley. It's just like I became a teacher, I'm a writer, like I don't have red hair and I'm not an orphan, but there are a lot of things that Anne and I have in common. If you don't know Anne of Green Gables, it is a series set on Prince Edward Island in Canada about a young girl who is taken in by a brother and sister, and they live on a farm called Green Gables, and she has a wild imagination, a fiery temper, And she gets herself into all kinds of interesting scrapes and adventures, and the series continues as she journeys into adulthood because so many people went crazy for Anne Shirley that the author had to keep writing more about her. And it's a phenomenal series. I've reread it, re-listened to it so many times. I've seen the movies, although not the third one. It takes away, like, it totally departs from the canon, and it's crap. So, no. But the first two movies that were made by Kevin Sullivan, I think is his name. Something Sullivan. Anyway, those first two movies are really great. Don't watch the third one. It's poop. Also, don't watch Anne with an E on Netflix if you really love Anne of Green Gables. It adds stuff in that is inappropriate and completely unnecessary and like really departs from the book. So I am not a fan of that series. I watched the first 1 or 2 episodes, I think, and then swore never to watch it again. If you love it, I'm glad you do. This is just my opinion. Alright, number 7 is Dumb Blonde. Just because I'm blonde, don't think I'm dumb, 'cause this dumb blonde ain't nobody's fool. So for this one, I want you to pick a book that has a smart character. So I chose Sky in the Deep by Adrienne Young. I love all of Adrienne Young's books. Sky in the Deep was the first one of hers that I read, and I really, really loved it. Elin, E-E-L-Y-N, so I think you say it Elin or Aelin, is our main character. She is a warrior, and she can fight, but she's super, super smart. There are clan politics going on. It's very Viking-like in the setting of the book, but through everything, she is so smart and fights really intelligently, both physically and intellectually, and she is just, super smart. Now, I feel like I could have gone with the obvious choice and said Hermione Granger from Harry Potter, but I've decided not to pick any Harry Potter books for the answers to the prompts on this one, just to stretch myself a little bit. So, we're going to stick with this girl. Alright, so for number 8, we're going to go back to 1968. Dolly wrote this song in the late 60s. It is called Just Because I'm a Woman. And I'm kind of feeling like I'm just going to read some lyrics for you. So I've pulled them up here, and the 2 lines that are repeated several times in this song is, "No, my mistakes are no worse than yours just because I'm a woman." And this song is all about, like, okay, if you're going to go sleep around, then you're just as guilty as me. Talks about how, like, a man will take a girl and ruin her reputation, but then when he wants to get married, he's looking for something else, and he's going to find an angel. And how, like, if a woman makes mistakes, it's not any worse than a man's mistakes. And we need to stop this double standard of judging women differently than men. We just do. And she wrote this in 1968, and we're still kind of fighting this battle, like, not kind of, we are. Anyway, with that thought in mind, the prompt is pick a book with a strong female character. Now, this doesn't have to be a super feminist book, but I did choose one that's kind of leaning that way, and that is Moxie by Jennifer Mathieu. This is set in high school, and it's about a group of girls, one girl specifically who kind of leads the charge. She starts a zine. Vivian Carter is her name, and she is, like, super fed up with the misogynistic crap, like, that just goes on all the time. The boys' team's getting more money than girls. The boys, the way they treat girls, even, like, some of the shirts they wear, it says, like, nasty things on it, and they never get in trouble. But if a girl were to wear something like that in their school, they would get in trouble. And so she kind of starts this zine and then an underground movement to kind of combat that. And there is a movie, I want to say it's a Netflix movie adaptation of this, and I thought it was pretty well done. But I just really like when girls band together to, like, fight for girls. So if you're doing this tag, again, you don't have to pick a book that's ultimately about girl power, but pick one that has a female character that's strong in some way. All right, number 9 is a song, again, another one of those Dolly songs that everybody knows. So many people have covered it. Ugh. Jolene, 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 Jolene. I have a cousin named Jolene. And when we were teenagers and we'd hang out sometimes, I would sing this to her face just to irritate her. But for this song, it is about a wife confronting the woman that her husband's been maybe flirting with or something and saying, you back off right now. This is kind of based on a true story, and Dolly has told this story before about this woman who worked at the bank, and she was flirting with Dolly's husband, and Dolly was having none of it. Just like, nope, sorry, he's mine. So, thinking about the character of Jolene, she's maybe a little bit dangerous, but obviously attractive. So, the prompt is, pick a book with a character that you are or would be attracted to, but who's perhaps a bit dangerous. So, I'm going to go to the Crave series by Tracy Wolff. There are 3 books out so far in this series. I have read all 3 of them, just finished the 3rd one recently, actually. The 4th one's coming out soon, and I certainly didn't order it from Book Depository, so I'd get it sooner than it comes out in the US. But it is a paranormal romance series. We have vampires, werewolves, dragons. We've got all kinds of paranormal creatures in this series. Our main character, Grace, after the death of her parents, goes to live at this academy, a boarding school in Alaska. Her uncle runs it. Her cousin Macy attends there as well. And she falls for the hunky vampire guy named Jackson. Now, he's not my character pick. The character that I would be attracted to is his older brother, Hudson. Also a vampire, very powerful, moody, British. Like, I'm not a teenager at the age of these characters, but if I were, he would be the one I'd be, like, kind of side-eyeing. Like, what's up, dude? How you doing? I never would say that to a boy, but you know what I mean. So, that's my pick for this one. Alright, number 10 is a song that Dolly did as a duet with Kenny Rogers. Super, super popular again. Islands in the stream, that is what we are. No one in between. How can we be wrong? Sail away with me to another world. I really need to be stopped. Anyway, the prompt for this one is a book with a love story that you enjoyed. It could be any kind of love story, but for the one that I'm going to tell you about today, it is Enemies to Lovers. Shadows Between Us by Trisha Levenseller. This is a Slytherin romance to beat all other Slytherin romances. Our 2 characters are so devious and behave terribly to one another while ultimately falling in love. Alessandra and the Shadow King are our characters, and she originally intends to try to woo the Shadow King so that she may kill him. Things don't go as planned. I read this so quickly. I really enjoyed Trisha Levenseller's books, and I definitely recommend this if you're looking for a good Enemies to Lovers read, or if the idea of a Slytherin romance appeals to you. It's just beautifully done. I don't know what else to say. Alright, so for our last prompt, which is song number 11, we have The Grass is Blue. This is when Dolly started venturing into bluegrass, and this was the title of her first bluegrass album, I believe. The song The Grass is Blue is about a woman who is so desperate to be able to cope with this broken heart that the only thing she can do is lie to herself all the time. Like, I'm fine. The sky is green, the grass is blue. I don't miss you. All these lies that she tells herself, these opposites, they get her through this time. I will try to sing a little bit of it so you can kind of get a feel for the tune, but I'm going to slaughter it. I'm going to link Dolly's YouTube channel below, and you can watch her do it. It's phenomenal. But it kind of goes like this. Rivers flow backwards, valleys are high, mountains are level, truth is a lie. I'm perfectly fine, and I don't miss you. The sky is green, and the grass is blue. I really botched the melody on that, but you kind of get the idea. So, This prompt is a book that helps you through a difficult time. There are so many books that could possibly fit this prompt for me, but the one that really stood out to me while I was getting ready to film is this book right here, Heartstopper. In fact, the whole series, but especially the first two. This is a graphic novel series about two boys who are on a team together and they end up falling in love with each other. Really easy to read and cool graphics. Like, the illustrations are nicely done. Let me tell you why this has helped me. You guys know that I have an anxiety disorder, some mental health issues, and there was a certain day last fall where I was crumpled up in a ball under the covers on my bed and didn't feel like I could really function. But then I had this thought, like, kind of in the back of my mind going, that those two graphic novels came. Maybe that would help if you read something. And so I lumbered into my office where my books were and grabbed them, went back to the bed, and tore through the first two books in this series, and then immediately got on Amazon and ordered the third one. I've since then also read the fourth one. It was also really, really wonderful. These books have mental health representation in them. Specifically on the fourth one, really focuses a lot on depression and what you can do to help someone in need. But this book was just here for me when I needed it. So, Heartstopper by Alice Oseman. And that's it. The last question is, who do you tag? And to be honest, I don't know who to tag. I would like, in an ideal world, I would like to see G do this tag, and Chelsea Palmer, and like maybe Jade or Gavin, like some of those YouTubers that I watch most frequently, but none of them watch my channel, so I'm just gonna leave this out here for everyone who wants to do this tag, whether you do it in a video, a blog, like just for your own amusement, sit down and like look at the prompts. If you like have any ideas or responses, even if you don't want to do like a formal response to the tag, like hit me up in the comments and say, hey, I think maybe for 9 to 5 I would pick this book, or for I Will Always Love You I would go with this one. Like, I'm super interested in what you guys think about these categories and how you would do this. And if you're not a fan of Dolly Parton, I hope this will inspire you to at least like check her out a little bit. Like, go listen to some of her songs, some of the ones I mentioned or others. She's written thousands, literally. And her YouTube channel is full of her performances and videos, lots of Christmas things as well. So again, like I said, I will link her channel in the space below. And that's all for this video. So I'm going to wish you a wonderful, magical, bookish, and Dolly-filled day. Happy reading. Adios.